All right, everyone, how's it going? So the first round of the open section just finished and going into round number 2. Currently in the lead, Dr. Alpha Payne and GN Brave in second place, Shane Classer in third place. Still a number of people on 1 point. Yeah, so the other section that is happening in this tournament is the under 13 section, which I'll quickly switch to right now, so that both sections I'll be commenting the games. By the way, if this is your first time on this channel, please like and subscribe to the channel, and also share the video with everyone that you know loves chess just as much as you do. This will be much appreciated. The more likes we can get on the video, the more people can see the video and more chess people can enjoy. All right, so let's go to the under 13 section of the tournament. So this is the first Rapid Championship where it's no longer just juniors, it's an open section, which is open to adults. Even anyone who wants to play chess can play in the open section. And then we still have the junior section where only players under the age of 13 can play. So this is the under 13 section. They are already now playing their second round. They played the first round already. This is their second round. And there's about 12 players playing. Let's see some of the games that are happening. Let's see one of the best juniors in South Africa, Samuel Driscoll, playing against Kid Luke. Let's see their game and just observe what is going on quickly. Still the opening, only 5 moves. So the Kid Luke tried to play this, what is called, there is a proper name for it, but it can also be called the Patsa opening, where white tries to checkmate in 4 moves, or otherwise known as the scholar's checkmate. Now, if you are still losing to this checkmate, then you still need to learn more about chess. This means you are still at a very beginner level and you need to learn more about the strategies and ideas in chess. So yeah, you should know the idea to stop this threat. Always it's a habit to, whenever the opponent makes a move, you want to find out what does the opponent want to do. And then you see here clearly that white is planning to capture on f7 with their queen and deliver checkmate right away. So Samuel saw this and played g6, which is the main way to stop this. Now queen f3 with the same idea. So always the most important question to ask in chess, every time your opponent moves, ask, what does my opponent want to do? What are they threatening? What is something of mine that they can capture? So here they again want to give checkmate. So Samuel played, knight f6 defending. And finally, the attack goes away. And now Samuel is already winning. And this is exactly what happens when you try to attack prematurely. What does a premature attack mean? Just like in real life, a premature baby is not fully grown yet. So a premature attack is an attack that is not fully grown. And attacking with only 1 or 2 pieces is a recipe for disaster. You are going to lose a lot of your chess games if you try to play for a quick attack. The opening really, it's not advised to start an attack. The main job you should be doing in the chess opening is to prepare your position, meaning get your pieces involved. Now that this attack was defended, Samuel will simply attack the white queen, harassing it. There's an opening principle that say, try not to move out your queen out too early for this very reason. A queen is such a powerful piece. Every time it is attacked, it needs to move again. So now the queen had to move, and sadly, it moved in the wrong position because now the knight can enter into the white's territory, making a fork or double attack, winning a queen, and again, even winning a rook. And to be fair, the game is already over with only a few moves played because of the big material disadvantage. And the rest of the game should just be a matter of technique, but hopefully Kid Luke learns from this. So let us look at the other game that's going on. I have to say, a lot of the junior players, the round has just started, but look how many moves have already been played. 17 moves played already. This is something that if you are watching and you are a junior chess player, please learn to not play instantly. What do I mean by this? Don't just make a move right away when any move that comes to mind. You certainly lose a lot more of your chess games if you play like that. You should take enough time to think. Please pay attention to the opponent's threats. Chess is a sport, guys. In any sport, you don't just ignore what the other team is doing and carry on with your own ideas. You try to actually pay attention and see what they want to do. If you're playing soccer, you want to try to stop the other team from scoring a goal. If they have the ball, they are the only one that can score. In rugby, similarly, if they have the ball, they want to score a try. So you try to stop them. In chess, a ball or try, or in any other sport, tennis, the tennis ball, the main job is to try and make sure you don't get checkmated or lose your pieces. So this requires you to pay attention to your opponent's plans and ideas. So in this moment now, Enrique 2012 is up with an extra rook and a few more pawns. So he is favorite to win this game, but let's see what goes on. The other game, also the players are playing rather quickly. And black king looks to be on the run, but at least this one, the material is balanced. The opponents have the same amount of material. So, or almost, yeah, the same amount of material. No, actually, white is up with an extra pawn. But not only that, white is having a serious attack against the black king. The king must always be safe. The king is the one piece that you cannot play around with. If your king is not safe, your whole game is in danger. Because ultimately, the game of chess, the goal of the game is to checkmate your opponent's king. So the black king is on a run. Can white find a way to checkmate it? That is the question. What do you think? Can white checkmate the king here? Please comment what you think about the way the king is being attacked. The other game is almost complete already. Yes. Again, the lesson is clear for me. Playing too instantly from Porcupine 2013, still with the time that he started the game with, and he lost the game. This needs to really be, oh no, he won the game. What? I'm not, yeah, Porcupine won the game. Yeah, apologies. Luandi lost the game. Yeah, the pieces look the other way around. Okay. So, okay, Porcupine did win with more time, with the same time he started. But again, for Luandi, still had quite a number of minutes, 9 minutes and 51 seconds. Not 10 seconds plus 10 minutes plus 5 seconds, sorry, is quite a lot of time. There's no need to play instantly because these losses can be avoided. It's not right to lose with so many pieces down with so much time. But yeah, the young players need to learn. And we as chess coaches also need to train them to manage their time properly. So the other game we have not looked at is this one. Jessica Driscoll 2011 versus Luke Nathan 2010. So yeah, the players seem to be maintaining similar amount of material. They have same pieces, 2 rooks, a knight and a bishop and a queen, but white is up with 2 extra pawns. And white has a very strong knight in the center of the chessboard. The black king is a lot weaker than the white king, and black has still to finish development. So here white is definitely the favorite to go on and win this position. Okay, so let's go back to the championship. in the open section. So here, yeah, I'll quickly take a break. I'll be back just now. All right, I'm back. So let's see what's going on in the championship. Let's start with this game. Shane Klasser versus Niethen. I hope I'm saying that name right. So at the moment, equal material, the same material, 2 rooks for white and 2 rooks for black, the queens and the knights. So the same material, and here white is slightly better because white has a more active knight on the f5 square, and the f5 knight is attacking. Is attacking the d6 point. So, and white is going to have a control of the only open file on the chessboard with either his rook, if the black rook refuses to trade and move away, or the queen if the black rook takes on c1. So this definitely is giving white a big edge, although in terms of the time, white is slightly below on time, although not too much, but yeah, almost 2 minutes down. In these faster time controls like rapid chess, time management is the most important thing, because even if you have an advantage, but if you let your time go down, especially to less than 2 minutes and 1 minute, it can become very dangerous. But for sure here, white is better, and it's white who's trying to push to win. But I don't know, do you think white is winning in this position? Are these advantages enough to win the game? Please comment what you think, if it is possible. Okay, here's a very interesting game. GN Brave versus Masoka 01. So GN Brave is, I think he won the last tournament. No, I can't remember now, but yeah, he's a regular in these rapid tournaments that we have. So he's always one of the favorites. In fact, here even on rating, he is the highest rated player in the competition. So he's a favorite in the tournament. But finally, chess is not played by a rating. Yeah, that's the only tricky thing about chess. If your rating could play, it would make everyone's life much easier. Because if you have a higher rating, you can just throw it and it will make moves for you. But that can never happen. Chess, you still need to play. So what is going on? The position is equal. Or is it equal? So 2, 4, 7 pawns for black and 7 pawns for white as well. But the biggest thing that we can see, which is the difference in this game, is the time situation. GN Brave is almost ahead with, or close to 6 minutes ahead. So his huge time advantage is definitely giving him an advantage here. And okay, Masoka still has to get, he has 5 seconds for every move, but he needs to play quicker. Although his queen seems a bit more active than the white queen, and for sure his bishop is more active than the black bishop. The position is a little bit equal. Maybe white is better because of the better piece position. And maybe white king is safer than the black's king. Because if the black queen moves away from f7, suddenly the white queen can come on e8 with checks and attacking the e6 pawn. So the position is in favor of white, but black's time advantage is making it difficult for white to prove their advantage. So very interesting game, this one. Who do you think is going to win in this game? Okay. There are only 3 games happening. Wow. So some players have lost quite quickly somehow. Wow, this is really... VBKO, who is a regular of this, our rated chess tournament, he is at the moment simply down with almost more than 8 minutes. I mean, really, this is not a way to play. You cannot allow yourself to be in such time trouble. Better time management is needed. He usually doesn't get bad positions, but the issue is the fact that the time pressure he always has is so severe that he either ends up drawing the games he should win or losing the games that he should win. Or sometimes losing the game that if he had more time, he should draw. But yeah, these are lessons that the players need to learn. Because that's, in the end, that's the main thing in chess. In chess, it's mainly about learning. You want to learn so that you can become a better chess player. And sometimes the toughest lesson in chess is, of course, losing a game. But if you don't waste that opportunity, see why you are losing. Because here, of course, even material, white is ahead with a pawn. He has a bishop for a knight. But his biggest advantage here is the huge time advantage. All right, let's... So there are already results that have come in. A few of the players have already lost. So, yeah, some of the players are losing much quicker than the other ones, and there is someone who's getting a bye. Because unfortunately, there is no even players in the tournament. Okay, so let's go back to the under 13 section. They already finished their second round. So Samuel did eventually win that game. And Rick also won his game. So the 2 players on full score are playing each other. There's also one more player on full score, Jaden TK, playing Jessica. Okay. So let's see the 2 players on full score. What is the situation? So it is the Italian game. And both players seem to know their theory. They know these positions, so they are playing them quite quickly. It usually helps to know your openings. You need to know your moves in the openings and the basic plans of the opening, so it can help you to play a little bit quicker. But the goal all the time, like here, it's never to play instantly. Playing instantly is the reason a lot of young players lose games. Like there, Enrique played instantly d5, which was a bad move, and now he's already down a piece after 11 moves. Playing instantly is the reason why you are still losing chess games, or playing too slowly. So this needs to be balanced. You can't play too slow. You cannot also play instantly. These are 2 errors of the same problem, with the same bad fruit, because in the end, more games are going to be lost. But nevertheless, okay, he's down with a piece. Can he find any way to survive, to try to complicate things? Let us see what will come from this game. Let's look at the other players who are in third and fourth place. So still in the opening, e4, e5, queen h5. Yet again, someone tries to play the Patsa opening. I cannot believe that this opening has been played more than once. Not a good move by Jessica, knight f6. So two things I keep repeating. Learn to look for the opponent's threats. When your opponent moves, your main job is to ask, why is the opponent moving there? What are their threats? What can they do next? Can they capture something of mine? Can they put me in checkmate? This is very important, guys. So here, knight f6 is not good. Knight c6 is the correct move. Now white simply wins a pawn for no reason, despite breaking. Oh, okay. Yeah. So usually the other issue with the other young players is that when they see the opponent's queen is launched towards them, they just panic because they think, wow, the queen is coming, I'm losing. You know, they feel under pressure, but that is not the case. As we saw in the other game where Samuel, Jessica's brother, he punished this bad opening by making sure he stopped the threats and then he attacked the gun because his opponent was attacking without enough pieces. Okay, so let me watch this game quickly. So an interesting opening. I mean, okay, there was a moment already here where black could have tried maybe this move, e4, making a fork, but white would need to respond by playing queen to e2 to pin, and after f5, bishop to c4. Yeah, interesting. But this didn't happen. Now we have a situation where black is behind in development and white is ahead in development. White is castled. Black will not be able to castle to the king side anytime soon because of the fact that the bishop is attacking that diagonal. So there is no way to move there, really. Okay, so by the way, thank you for everyone who's still joining the stream. If this is your first time coming here, please subscribe to the channel and also like the video. Please share the video as well with other chess people. Share it with your friends. Share it in WhatsApp groups where chess fans are. Share the link with as many people as possible. This will help. Thank you very much. And let's see the other games. Kid Luke versus Levy B 2010. So the material is the same, but there seems to be a checkmate on the board. So Kid Luke pushed this pawn attacking, but forgot that his opponent has a threat. Now, this is usually the case with a lot of young chess players, as this is the under 13 section, is to always be excited about their attacking plans, but forgetting what the opponent can do in return. So that's why I will continue to say this throughout this live stream. Chess is a sport. I mean, in any sport, you must always consider what the other one is doing. If you are in a boxing ring, it doesn't matter how you want to punch the opponent. You must also think they can punch you back right away, or even stop you from punching. They'll stop you from punching them, and they punch you. So we need to think like this as chess players. Very, very important mind shift. If you think of chess as a sport, you immediately make improvement. You immediately start playing better chess because you are aware now of the fact that someone who's playing with you really wants to win, and they will try everything. So this will help you, hopefully, to pay attention to the opponent's plans and all of that. So let's look at this other game. Look, Nathan, 2010 versus Luandi. So let's see here. Normal stuff. Okay, the king is already on the run. Okay, then some double attack and the rook is down. Okay, very vicious game, but at least Nathan 2010 has managed to make sure his opponent's king is much more weaker and also stopping it from castling. That's one of the main plans. When your opponent's king doesn't castle, try to trap it in the center, because not castling usually costs you. If you don't castle, your king is going to be a target for the rest of the game. So very interesting game. Luke is ahead with the rook, of course, so he should be winning. But anything can happen. Chess is a very interesting game. Okay, this is the one game I've not looked at in the under 13 section. So far, so good. Between Alès and Liama, Nikki, Mace. Okay. Or is it Lama? Okay. So at the moment, black is up with material. Black has an extra piece. There's an extra knight and an extra pawn. So black is favorite here, and the time management isn't so bad. In fact, black has more time. So yeah, this is the under 13 section, round 3. They're already in their round 3. The championship seems they're still playing their, their second round between Shane Classer. Okay, so Shane was able to find the winning plan, and his opponent resigns, and as well even managed to get more time, because last time he had less time than his opponent. So in the championship, there are still 3 people on full score: GN Brave, Shane Classer, and Dr. Alpha Payne, followed in by South African Rhino, who has 1.5 points, and Legan Nigel in fifth place. Okay, so the next round will be starting soon in a minute and 26 seconds. Okay, so quite a lot of people in the chat who are following the game. So thank you for following the event. Once again, please, if you have not subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. Whilst they are getting their game started, let's see these remaining games in the under 13 section. I'll be back with you shortly. All right, I'm back. So we are still with only one game in the under 13 section. This is their round 3 between Jessica and Jaden. So it seems that Jaden had an advantage at the beginning, but Jessica has managed to come back. She's pushing quite a lot of her pawns and trying to break through on the queen side, and has a queen and 2 rooks battery on the e file. The 4th world chess champion would be proud to see this position. Alexander Alekhine, popularly known for the Alekhine's gun, when he had the queen behind 2 rooks. So he also liked to have a lot of major pieces, the queen and the rooks, on one file, because their power is just too much. The time situation is also not too bad. Jessica is just under a minute ahead from the opponent, but the opponent is an attack, and he finds the right move. Knight g6, making a fork. The pawn is not able to take because of the pin. And when the king moves out of the check, then knight captures on e7, and suddenly everything has turned on his head. So yeah, this one is still up in the air who's going to win. But now let's check out the championship. We have the third round in the championship happening. So let's see this, which is one of the big games. Shane Klasser versus GN Brave. The 2 tournament favorites are playing each other. The time situation is quite close. Let's see what opening was played. So knight f3, knight f6, g3. So just some normal opening to develop. So both players were not really trying to have some opening theory debate. But Shane Klasser almost won a pawn out of the opening. But GN Brave has managed to retain that pawn. Very tense position, but it's a symmetrical position. The position is the same. The pawns are all on the same files, and the material is the same. So normally the typical thing to do in these kinds of positions is to make sure you have more active pieces than your opponent. Your pieces are more active than your opponent, you see. So this is the situation now. Queen captures b2 has been played. So it's an even position, even Stevens. This will probably go on for a while. Let's see how it goes. So let's follow the other tournament leader. Well, the other tournament leader lost already somehow. Well, he lost to the South African Rhino, but quite quickly it has to be said. e4, c5, knight to c6. So it was a Sicilian defense. Both players were blitzing quite quickly their moves, and pieces were exchanged. The queen was harassed. There was a threat of a fork. Pawn was taken. Knight took. Oh no! And with that, there's a pin on the a7 to g1 diagonal. The queen is going to be lost, and with that, the game is over. Well, very difficult game for the tournament co-leader. Now it's actually the South African Rhino who's is in the lead with 2.5, but still waiting for the result of the game between GN Brave and Shane Klasser. Okay, let's see. There are still 5 games ongoing, so there's still quite a lot of games to check. Let's look at the game between Micah Nash Slick versus White Lion 658. The material, okay, almost looked, yeah, well, what is going on? So Black is down with an exchange, meaning Black has a knight for a rook and it doesn't even have any pawns for that. So he is done with an exchange. He only has a knight for a rook. So white is ahead technically because of the points, but the only challenge is though is that the two rooks don't have open files just yet, and if they are there, there are pieces in the way. Rooks normally like open files so that they are able to enter into the opponent's territory. The time management is quite good from both players. This game will be going on for a little while, but of course, white is slightly favored because of their time, their advantage and the many weaknesses in the black's position. Okay, so let us go to the next game. Paisho versus Niethen 2025. The material is the same. It's an end game. No, its material is almost the same. So Niethen is up with a pawn. Niethen has an extra pawn. So here, for sure, Niethen is the favorite in this position because of the material advantage and the fact that he still threatens to win the pawn on c7. And if the pawn on c7 is pushed, then suddenly Niethen will get his pawn to d6, which is the number one plan in endgames, is to create a passed pawn. Now, for those that don't know, a passed pawn is a pawn that doesn't have any pawns of the opponent in front of it or next to it, to the right and to the left. So if this pawn can somehow disappear, okay, so big good choice from Paisho trying to exchange the bishops. Maybe he remembers the famous rule in rook endings that, well, it's not a rule, but it's a saying that goes that all rook endings are draw. Now, that's definitely not a true statement, but it is possible that rook endgames can end up more often than not in draws, especially if the defending side can be active with their rook. That's the main principle. So the chance to draw in a rook ending can be quite high if you can give your rook activity. And also here it might be easier if he could just get, after captures, he already has a big threat to play f5, winning the e pawn. So yeah, maybe white should not take there, but this is my thoughts. I would like to hear what you think about the position. Let me know what you think in the comments section or even in the live chat. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'm curious to know what you think about the position. Okay, so whose game have we not looked at yet? Daniel van Ons. Oh, the name is a bit tricky. Van Onselen. I hope I'm saying that right. Apologies if I'm not saying it right. This is Ligen Nigel. Okay, what's going on? The material, there are 5 pawns for white and 4 pawns for black, similar with the last game with Paisho. Also a rook and bishop endgame. Black has a little bit of counterplay, but maybe not too much. Still, and white, in this, similar in both games, the player with the white pieces has a huge advantage on time. So that can definitely give them chances. But both players with the black pieces have the idea to exchange bishops to try to go into a rook endgame, which will give them more realistic chances to draw the position. All right, so now that we've gone through all the open section games, let us observe maybe the most, or one of the key games, because this will determine who's going to be leading the tournament after 3 rounds. So it's another rook end game where, yeah, white's rook is definitely active. It has entered into the black's territory, but is it enough to win? Who knows? What do you think about this position? Is it enough that white's rook is active? Is there a winning plan? And if you are saying yes, what is that winning plan? All right. Well, GN Brave was able to force his way to victory. Very nice desire. You know, he's one player that always wants to win. Taking a draw for him is almost unheard of. He always tries to win every single game, and there it was really his winning desire that pushed him over the edge. And now he is number one in the tournament with 3 victories out of 3. The only player who is on full score right now, and followed there in second place by South African Rhino with 2.5 points, and Shane Klasser, who just lost to GN Brave, with 2 points out of 3 games. And also in fourth place, Dr. Alpha Payne with 2 points, and Ligon Nigel with 2 points as well. Masoka also on 2 points. And yeah, it's a tense tournament, and clearly the players are playing fighting chess. There are still games happening even now. Let's quickly go back to the under 13 section. They are going through their games quite quickly. Samuel still remains on full score, and he's playing the other player on full score, Jaden TK. So it's the battle of the full score guys. Let's see what opening they decided to play. So E4, E5, Queen H5. So Jaden TK still playing his Pata opening, or in other words, the scholar's mate. But it's a very dubious opening. Let's put it that way. It doesn't really lose, but also it doesn't also give white realistic winning chances. Yeah, but clearly he enjoys that kind of position of having his queen involved in the game so early, and it's been working well for him so far, although he just lost a pawn now on B3, yeah, which Samuel does take. Both players really working with their time reasonably well, although Samuel should try to speed up because his opponent is 2 minutes ahead. It's usually a good habit to try to have the same time with the opponent, but preferably to actually have more time than the opponent. So that's the goal usually. So here is going to be, of course, Samuel has an extra pawn, which Jaden gets back, but Samuel can take the pawn on A4. So Samuel can take the pawn on A4 and he will have a passed pawn. But Samuel decided to take with his bishop, maybe to go to a major piece endgame where he is going to have an extra pawn, and he says he should be able to win this one, which he is the favorite, of course. Now his queen is attacked, probably to play queen to E8, attacking the white queen on E5, but probably white wants to exchange queens and play queen D4, attacking on A7. But this one will be a very interesting game. Both players fighting to remain in first place. So most of the games are finished. There's only 2 more games happening. Let's check the game between. Okay, it just also finished. Rwandi and Alet Duke. So Rwandi was just able to win. Okay, Rwandi did have much more pieces, and the checkmate came on the board. And then there's another game happening. Luke Nathan versus Aneka Dupe. Luke Nathan has more pieces. In fact, he even has an extra queen, 2 queens extra. Yeah. Unless there's some sort of a stalemate, he should be able to win the game easily in this one. So Luke Nathan should be getting his second victory of the tournament, because he had somehow managed to lose all 3 of his games. And even some of the games he seemed to have been winning before. Because similarly with the game with Rwandi, he was winning, but managed not to win somehow. But yeah, chess is not easy. For some strange reason, the king keeps escaping, just for the entertainment of how the king keeps escaping. Oh, just what I was saying. Stalemate. Well, chess is tough. Chess is tough business. It's very difficult. Instead of taking there, the correct thing was to play Queen E7, which was checkmate. So the classic situation of the two decisions. Which decision is right? Yeah, and that's why chess is said it helps children make better decisions, because it teaches children to make better decisions. Samuel remains with an extra pawn pushing. Let's see how he does there. White Lion and Micah, Nash, Slick are still pushing in the championship section. Although it looks like White is completely winning. Yeah, White is winning. Or easy. White just made a huge blunder. Huge mistake. But he will still make a queen, of course. But yeah, that was a potentially a huge mistake. Now after knight g8, instead of taking back with the pawn, which would be a mistake really, but maybe if, better move by his opponent, but technically not, because there the other guy now has an extra rook. So White Lion is clearly winning here, but the time management needs to be improved. So the winning plan is very simple. It's to sacrifice the rook for the pawn. Now just to get the bishop far away from the black king. Yeah. And this one is winning. But it's not over yet. Just as we saw in the under 13 section with Luke Nathan, it looked like it was winning, but sadly, stalemate is still a way to, rook a4 wins everything, but was missed somehow. His opponent saw it, but yeah, a bit rushed from White Lion. I think he's starting to panic because of the time pressure. Even though he's winning, he just needs to calm down. So some check. Okay, still one more game in all the sections. The under 13 section is also an interesting endgame. Rook endgame, where black has an extra pawn. Rook belongs behind passed pawns, which is what Samuel is trying to do now. Get his rook behind the passed a pawn and start to push it. Again, for those watching, a passed pawn is a pawn that doesn't have any of the opponent's pawns in front of it or next to it, to the left or to the right. Now, we don't have an A- file, but if this was anywhere else, it would be, say, maybe if the pawn was here, it would be on the B file or the C file. There must be no pawns, and the pawn is free to be pushed all the way to the last rank of the opponent and promoting to one of 4 pieces. So it appears that the game is winning completely. Samuel has a very simple plan. Get his pawn to A2, and now that rook is going to be stuck defending the pawn, and Samuel just brings his king into the game. White will try to get their king to the other side, but then Samuel can go for these pawns. He can go after these pawns, because the white king will need to help out the rook. So the best move is to play A2 to fix this rook in the corner. Yeah, exactly. Like after this, the position now is losing. This rook cannot make any real moves anymore. And Samuel needs to bring his king into the game, either there or through there. But now that one probably allowed G5. But okay, the opponent didn't see it. Now Samuel will try to go for this king match, which white is allowing. And now when the king gets there, the group will be attacked. Okay, very simple move now. Rook A3 check. Getting rid of the king. Now it's an easy win. He takes all these pawns with an easy win. And White Lion also was able to win his game. Very big win. Beating a player who was almost 500 points higher rated than him. So the championship is going to play their fourth round in just 2 minutes. Samuel is on his way to victory. His opponent finally ran out of patience and sacrificed his rook. So Samuel has basically tied for first place in the under 13 section, no matter what happens in the last round. He'll either he's either going to come clear first with 5 out of 5, or he will tie for first place with someone else, but he should still come first anyways. So in many ways, Samuel has won the tournament with 1 round to go. Very impressive performance from one of South Africa's best junior chess players. Well done. So yeah, they are also waiting to start. Similarly with these guys, they are waiting to start. They will be starting their 4th round, and they are now starting their 5th round. So both tournaments for the championship after 3 rounds have someone who's on full score, and the chat is booming. Dr. Alpha Pain, I just felt your pain. Yeah, unfortunately, Dr. Alpha Pain lost a queen in the last round, in round 3. So it is quite painful. Okay, so let's see. E4, E5. Okay, so the 2 players who have not lost are playing each other now. GN Brave and South African Rhino. South African Rhino right out of the gate with aggressive tactics, collecting that black bishop and robbing black the chance to castle. So South African Rhino is very tricky player. Very, very tricky player. He plays, okay, that's just an extra pawn for nothing. Queen D5 was winning material, right? Very strange move by South African Rhino. Does play too instantly, which is usually a mistake. Not usually, it's always a mistake to play instantly. Always, never play instantly. It's not good. You avoid making a lot of big blunders. Train yourself the habit to just consider the position. Even when it looks the most obvious, try to consider the position. Now, from a just winning position, South African Rhino is apparently simply lost. And it all came down to one careless move. Castles where he could have just grabbed the pawn on D5 with check and simply have a winning position. Chess is very ruthless, guys. It's not a joke. Hence, I keep saying that chess is a sport. You know, it has all the elements that you have in sport. You have fun, you have excitement, you enjoy, but you also have a lot of pain, a lot of distress, and yeah, a lot of disappointments. And yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, but we love it and we enjoy it. It helps us to grow. So welcome to everyone who's joining the chat, joining the live stream. Thank you for tuning in. Please, if you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the Elite Chess YouTube channel in the link in the description below. Also like the video and share the video with your chess friends and anyone who is interested in chess. It's much appreciated. So this one looks like GN Brave is a favorite, but just to look at a key moment so I can have a lesson from this. This was the key moment of the game where South African Rhino played a very tricky opening, which allowed him to get basically an advantage out of the opening. So after takes d5, the correct move was just to take here. Queen d5 check, and now it depends if his opponent wants to take. If his opponent takes, now the only move that is sensible is probably to play a knight here, where the move can be answered by maybe knight to a3. So he probably wasn't winning, but at least he definitely isn't losing. That's also important to note. It would have been equal material, even though he won castle, but okay, it's not a big deal. Black's king also isn't castling. So castling isn't the end of, not castling is not the end of the world. The king can always go to f2, the rook can come into the game, bishop goes to d2. But now he has a situation where he's just down with two central pawns, and his opponent's pieces are suddenly more active than his. So he's down with the pawn, but yeah, it's not over. Of course, there's still a lot more of the game to play. Let's see if Dr. Payne can recover from that painful loss that he had in the last round. And of course, he plays someone he knows, which is one of the most challenging things that can happen usually, is that when you want to win, you get paired with someone you know. It's not very nice because you still need to play the game properly anyways. But yeah, so let's quickly observe what opening was this. So knight f3, it turned into a Grunfeld. There is now an isolated queen's pawn, a pawn which is not defended by any pawns. It's isolated. It's all alone. Like the song, I am so lonely, I have nobody, I am on my own. Yeah, okay, so the pawn is alone. That's basically what is going on with an isolated pawn. It's not defended by other pawns. It can be a target, but it can also be an advantage, because it allows you to have open files for your rooks and points for your knights on e5 and c5. And generally, you can have 3 plans to play with, either on the king side, in the center of the board, or to attack on the queen side. So it allows the position to be quite flexible for white. But white normally, when you have an isolated queen's pawn, your main plan is to try to avoid exchanging the minor pieces. The minor pieces are the knights and the bishops. So try to not exchange too many of them so that you are able to still keep enough pieces to start an attack. Black's plan, on the other hand, is to actually blockade this pawn, usually with a knight. But here, Dr. Payne is blocking this pawn with his bishop, which is doing a decent job. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to leave the games playing on for a little while. I'll be taking a short break. I'll be back very soon. Yeah, thank you. All right, I'm back for the last bit of the action. Let's quickly check the under 10s who are in their last round of the tournament. So Enrique finishes with 4 out of 5. Jaden T scores 3 out of 5. And Levi B or Levi scores 2.5 out of 3. Coming in the top 5. Now for the under 13s, there's a group class prize for the top 5, which will be focusing on tactics, which at this level is one of the main things that junior players need, is to learn chess tactics to become very good. Tactics are important. Tactics. A lot of chess actually is decided by tactics, so this will be the group class that they will be receiving some training on, so that they can become better. So part of these events, we mainly do these events to improve the junior players. So especially the young ones, we want to help them to improve. Of course, even in the open section, we also want them to improve, but some of them are already quite high rated and quite strong, and some of them are already training on their own and they've become strong competitors and all the rest. But the junior players, there's still a lot of room for improvement, and hence we try to help by throwing some of these events. Also, they gain rating. Some of these kids are playing their first chess tournament for the first time. So a lot of new players are coming into chess through these online tournaments. So yeah, this is part of the mission of Elite Chess Academy, if you will, to help improve people's chess skills and help their brain to grow by all these challenging activity of chess, and also to help them to make friends. So this is part of our mission, and to, of course, make chess more enjoyable, more accessible for everyone, everywhere. There are people from all over the country playing. So yeah, let's see the remainder of the tournament. Jessica looks to be winning a game. She's up with a queen. Now, unless she just blunders everything, she should win the game easily. There is, of course, one blunder in the position, queen to e1. Let's hope she avoids that. She does. And also, there's the same blunder for Andrew, which could lose the game. Bishop to e1. Okay, he doesn't fall for that. Queen b3. And now, the game is really over. So Samuel Driscoll, Jessica's brother, won the tournament with 5 out of 5. An amazing performance from the young man. Again, one of the best chess players, junior players in the whole country. He's represented South Africa at national and international level. Very, very good performance by him. He has a performance rating of 1923. Of course, this is the Leach's rating, but his playing strength is currently at that level, even on online chess, with a win rate of 100%. Really impressive performance from the young man, and with that wins the tournament with full score. Now, of course, this tournament also counts for Chess South Africa rating, the online rating that is. So this will also affect his real live chess rating, and especially his hybrid rating will be influenced. So now his over the board rating and his online rating are combined, which helps him to be higher rated. So these events, again, are very useful and are helping chess players to improve, gain chess rating points, and win tournaments. So the top 5 looks like it's set. There's one more game that is happening, but we can see the result is clear, unless there's a stalemate. Very tough tournament for Luke B. Very, very tough. This was his first chess tournament. This is an example of what I've been saying. Some players playing their first ever chess tournament. Of course, it is tough to score half out of 5, but he was winning in some of the games, actually. He stalemated here where he should have checkmated. In the one game, he was just ahead of in material, but somehow things went wrong. But then there's room to improve. There's room to correct. Usually the best way to deal with losses is to try to improve on that. Late in 11th place. And yeah, Wandi, Kid Luke, Jessica, Porcupine, Aneka, and Levi in 5th place. Okay, and then Llama, Mickey Mice in 4th place. So this is the under 13 section almost wrapping up. Let's just see the end in case a stalemate can happen, which is the only thing that is that Andrew Porcupine 2013 is hoping for. But Jessica is making sure she avoids any of that funny business, and she will try to even get an extra queen. And when there is an extra queen, it should be an easy ladder checkmate across the board. Okay, gives the check. Gives another check. Yeah, at this point, the only thing she needs to avoid is stalemating her opponent. And there she is able to find the ladder checkmate. Okay, she doesn't go for it. And there it is, checkmate. Okay, GG's. So Jessica Driscoll comes in the 5th place, overlaps Levy B with that win. So this is the top 5. Samuel Driscoll, Enrique 2012, Jaden TK, Llama, Mickey Mice, and Jessica Driscoll 2011. So GG's everyone. Well done. Okay, so this is the top 5 that win the chess tactics training, and the best female player, who in this case is Llama Mickey Mice. But since both of the two best female players are already in the first 5 places, we might have to give the best female player to someone who's outside. But anyways, the technical details will be dealt with behind the scenes. Well done to the under 13 players for an exciting tournament and amazing performance from Mr. Samuel Driscoll. So the under 13 section is complete. We only have one more section, which is the Rapid Championship, where South African Rhino was even able to beat GN Brave. In what looked like a position he was, well, worse. Not only did he turn things around, he was even able to win the game. Amazing. Simply amazing. So let us see what went on. Wow. Okay, the one thing that for sure he had working for him was the fact that GN Brave's queen wasn't, or king I mean, wasn't the safest piece. And he basically punished that, and he won the game in the end quite easily. All right, big win from South African Rhino, very big win. Yes, he has 3.5 points. GN Brave with 3 points. Lengen Nigel with 3 points. Masoka 01 with 3 points. Niathan with 3 points. Shane Clausen with 2 points. Dr. Alpha Payne with 2 points. Was not able to recover from the pain of losing in the previous round. Yeah. Chess is not easy. Chess is not easy. Okay, a few players unfortunately have pulled out of the event, which we normally don't recommend, but well, I suppose they have lost one too many games. But the main thing is uh, it's not always about winning, guys. If chess was always about winning, we should not play anymore, right? Because we are all losing games on a regular. And I have the words of the third world champion to back up this opinion of mine. He said that to become a strong chess player, one has to lose more than 100 chess games. So losing is normal. It's part of it. We simply need to learn from our losses. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Even if it's painful, let's learn from the losses. But of course, I understand there can be other reasons why players have to leave a tournament, maybe load shedding problems. Who knows? Who knows? But nevertheless, the ones that are still playing, they'll still keep trying and pushing. We have a game going on. PieShop versus VBKO. So PieShop has a knight for a rook. VBKO, again, in bad time trouble. Something that he really needs to work on. Having to play with so little time is not good for the player's chess improvement, because a lot of the games are ruined because of the severe time pressure. But yeah, once again, a lesson that needs to be learned again and again. So let's see, because here he has a better position and he's even winning, but with 7 seconds and 3 million, yeah, the time management has to improve. So this is the last game happening before PieShop not only survived by drawing, could he even win the game because of his big time advantage. Please comment what you think in the chat. I would love to hear your thoughts about this position. Okay. All right. So somehow VBKO was not only able to get a winning position, but he even got PieShop to sacrifice his knight for a pawn. But usually this is the case that will encourage him to continue with these time trouble issues, because he wins actually when this happens. But this is not the right way to play chess. You cannot play chess with so little time. It's really not good for your chess as well as your health as a player. The anxiousness that one just goes through with having so little time is not advised. But nevertheless, you did win. Well done in the end. But these time trouble issues need to be improved. So here are the current standings going into the last round of the Elite Chess Rapid Showdown Open section, the championship section, where the first place is going to win 250 rands, second place wins 150 rands, and third place wins 100 rands. And there is, of course, a best female chess player prize for the best female in the tournament, wins an individual online lesson one-on-one with the very strong Nico Martin. rated over 1,900 in chess by Chess South Africa, one of the best players in the Western Cape also. So good opportunity for the best female player to learn from one of the top players in the country, really. So yeah, once again, we are trying to give value. We are trying to help chess players improve, helping chess players win tournaments and gain chess rating points. That's also the other mission of Elite Chess, apart from just helping people improve their skills and grow their brain and make friends. It's also to help chess players win tournaments and gain rating points by offering effective chess coaching that is focused on the growth and the development of the player as an individual. Now, if you are interested in all of these things that I'm saying, and you have not registered with our academy, please contact Elite Chess on our various social media platforms. On Facebook, you can find us. On Instagram, on WhatsApp, you can search for us on Google. You can get our contact details, our phone number, business phone number, which is also the WhatsApp number. So get in touch with us today and let us offer you chess coaching that will change your life in chess at least, but as well even your brain. Like we said, like I said, but we speaking for Elite Chess, even helping players with other skills as well, apart from just chess. So we are in the last round now. South African Rhino is the leader of the tournament. He plays against Neathan. South African Rhino needs to win this tournament, needs to win this game to come first in the competition. Will he be able to do that? Let us see. Let us see. So it's a Sicilian defense, and Neathan plays the Grand Prix attack. So these are players who have history with each other. They have played 13 times on Lichess. South African Rhino has won 11 times. So this normally plays on the back of the mind of the chess player. When you play someone and you have lost to them, especially quite a lot, as in this case, let us see the attitude that Neathan shows in this. Is he going to, admit that he will lose at some point, or is he going to try and change that negative score and actually start putting pressure on South African Rhino? And at the same time, South African Rhino might be thinking, I've beaten this guy quite a few times. It should be an easy picking. I must just play concentrating and I'll win at some point. Or he could think even worse, this is an easy game. I'll win at some point. The way you think is very important about a game, because usually this determines if you are going to win the game or not. So your attitude in and during the game is also important. So let's see what goes on with this game. Let us see the other game. GN Brave versus VBKO. GN Brave would, at least he doesn't lose anything, but after queen takes, bishop takes, knight captures on f2, black regains their pawn, black is able to castle. Yeah, there is no trick really. The trick would have worked if this queen couldn't take on d5. So, okay, what's going on here? Okay, let's look at this other player. Okay, they are playing against each other. Masoka and Liga Nigel. The other players in the top 5. It's quite an even position. The material is the same. The pawn structure is slightly different. Black has a little bit of space advantage in the center, but Black's rook is currently under attack. White is ahead in development. They have finished piece development before Black. So yeah, it will be an interesting game. So White follows the right plan. He's ahead in development. He tries to open up the position. Let's look at the other game. Shane Klaaser versus Dr. Alpha Payne. Very interesting opening plate. Let's see what it was. The French defense and we go into the so-called King's Indian attack. Now, some of you might know what is called the King's Indian defense. This is not that opening. It is the version you play with the white pieces. Normally, white is called the attack because white starts with the first move. So for black, it's called the defense. For white, it's called an attack. But black seems to know how to play against this because he has managed to stop white's attack against his king, and black is organizing counterplay already against his opponent, and he's winning a pawn for free on c3. And with this, Dr. Alpha Pain is already in some pain, having lost a pawn in the opening. Very difficult tournament for Dr. Alpha Pain, but hopefully one he will learn from. Okay, the other game that's going on is Daniel versus Micah. So what's going on? Let's see. C4, D5. Okay. Everything looks good. Now, of course, taking here would not have been possible because the pawn on A3 is pinned to the rook on A1. So, yeah, that's a very good move. Queen to F3, G6, and now suddenly the king is in danger. But black has some material advantage. Black has a rook for a bishop, but the king is very, very unsafe. It is very unsafe. And in the end, everything in chess rides on this. How safe is your king? If your king is not safe in chess, more times than not, you will lose the game, even if you have material. So there is already some problems now with after pawn captures on E5, attacking the two pieces. After king takes, then comes D4 check. And then after D4 check, king goes back. Okay, the queen was attacked, I apologize. So he does it anyways, but after exchanging queens, because initially it would not have worked because the queen was hanging on C7. But now it is working. If the king takes the pawn, D4 check is going to be played. The king must go back to E6. E4 is going to be played, attacking this bishop. And if the bishop moves somewhere, maybe bishop to H3 now. Okay, so maybe that's the, sorry, that's what Micah missed. There is a move. This was not necessary. That was a very bad move, actually. There was a better move. Let me quickly show us on the analysis board. So there was no need to do this. After F4, rook D6, B5, queen B6, queen takes, and now pawn captures on E5. If king takes, of course, with calculation, you must always look one more move. I think black stopped after he saw that after E4, my opponent is going to play E5. But really, there is bishop H3. This is the move that was a nice counter play. Although there is maybe rook takes, king takes, E5 check, and the king goes here. I mean, it is very tricky, that's for sure. But still, it will be a rook for two pieces. But after bishop H3, if E5 anyways now, this would not be very good. Okay, it's still a rook for two pieces, but maybe not, because now the guy just comes back. So this would have created more practical problems. Nevertheless, it wasn't spotted. Now the game continues in a different way. It's going to be an end game where, okay, taking this pawn is bad news because of the plan. Okay, why allowed the pawn to be taken, maybe, yeah? So it's an interesting game, this one, very interesting. The opponent's king is quite active, but the pawns that white has are a lot more than black's. So I think all the games that are happening are still going. Bishop did win his last game against Ruben Bauer. It was a miniature. It only lasted for 17 moves. Let's see what happened. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight to c6, d4, pawn captures, knight takes, bishop to c5, c3, the so-called Scotch game, sorry, knight h5, f4, attacking the knight, always look at the opponent's threat, and then a blunder, g3, very serious blunder. There is a pin against the h2 pawn, so blocking this with g3 isn't so good, because now simply knight takes, and if you take here, you are going to lose the rook. Okay, and now there's even a checkmating attack. Game over. All right, so after a tough event, Bishop is able to finish with a win, and yeah, lessons learned. So, all right, so 4 more games that are happening. What are your thoughts about these 4 games? Let me know what you think. Okay, so we are seeing now the almost the finale of the tournament, or it is the finale. The last two games that are happening to decide who wins the tournament. So GN Brave was able to win his game against VBKO with a pin against the queen. So he is now also waiting to see who is going to win here. But it appears South African Rhino is winning his game, although he does have a check against the opponent's king with knight to f6 check. After knight f6 check, pawn captures, but there is no way to stop checkmate. So taking that rook will not be very wise. Black's attack against the king looks very, very strong. Probably the best move is to play, to play knight f2, attacking the queen on h3, yeah. And now the queen goes somewhere. Who knows? Maybe queen h5, yeah, with a very strong threat. But now after queen takes d4, okay. So Nathan is still in the game. Queen captures d4, rook f2 doesn't work anymore, which was the threat. But yeah, so this is what South African Rhino was planning. If the queen did not take, he wanted to take here with this rook, so that this white rook would now not really be able to capture, because if it takes, then the rook will be left unprotected. But now this queen being here stops this plan. It defends actually both the pieces. Hence, South African Rhino tries to force the matter by playing e5, forcing to take so that he can take the on f2 with one of his rooks. Yeah, okay, very interesting position. The time is also quite close. Both players are managing their time quite well. South African Rhino managing his time just a little bit better. So yeah, very interesting. And as we can see, more players are interested as well. Quite a number of players checking out the game, because even South African Pitbull is checking out the game. So it seems all the animals in South Africa are coming into the tournament. We have the Rhino and we have a Pitbull. Yeah, okay. Please don't forgive my bad jokes. Okay, but that's a blunder now. Yeah, queen e4 is a blunder. Now rook f2 is now a mistake. Queen e4 wasn't a good move. And with that move, okay, apparently there's a check which I missed, which also it seems South African Rhino missed. Checks are always dangerous. Always look for checks. Checks are the most forcing moves on the board, because when your opponent gives a check, you have no choice but to do something about a check, either by capturing the piece that is checking, protecting your king from the check by covering it with one of your pieces, or to run away with your king for safety, if the first two options are not possible. So here probably knight f8 will be played. But then after knight f8, actually South African Rhino loses an exchange, because his opponent will be able to play rook captures f2 without the fear of losing the rook on d1. So very nice trap by Nathan. And now it seems the tables might be turning all of a sudden, because, yeah, Black was able to, White was able to find nice counter attack. But now there's really nothing to think about. Simply take the rook on f2. I'm surprised Nathan is thinking long. It seems a very simple thing. Just take the rook, which he has done, but he maybe was just double checking, following the CEM principle. Check every move. You can never check every move enough. So actually in this position, Nathan has an advantage. Not only does he have an advantage, the advantage is the winning advantage. And the time situation is quite stable from both. Who knows? Nathan might cause an upset. In this case to Rhino, who hadn't lost any game going up until now. But now suddenly he's in big trouble. He's in big trouble. Let's see if he can wiggle his way out. The other game that is going on is the game between Masoka and Legen Nigel. Yet again, we see the issue of time management. Masoka is in serious time trouble. Only 10 seconds to play the remainder of the game. Very nice move from Masoka, very nice. But very nice trap from Legen Nigel. But black seems to be a favorite in the position because of the outside pass pawn. Black can push his pawn, and this must allow black to have a winning advantage. But the time situation is so bad. Okay, but now this is just allowing white to have a winning position somehow. Not good chess from Legen Nigel. One of the main things the player with more time needs to learn to do is that when your opponent has more time or less time, don't try to play for tricks, because the opponent is highly alert. They will be looking for any tricks. For example, this trick with e5 and e6. For sure, black has seen this. It's nothing really. It's actually a bad trick, because then the rook can always go to f5. So it seems here Masoka could actually win the game. And with that, he would be suddenly coming in the top. Yeah, Masoka is winning here. He could, Nigel can, Masoka can just take on e6. Now after rook e2 check, which is probably the only thing, because now rook c2 maybe doesn't work. Ooh, it does work. Rook e2 check, rook c2, rook takes, king takes, f7, queen. Ah, that's a bad move. He didn't see the trick. Let me quickly show you the trick. Very beautiful, very beautiful. So this is the trick that he could have done, because now Legen Nigel thought he was winning, or at least making a queen in time. But look at this. How great is this idea? After rook takes, king takes, f7, a1. Do you see the trick? This is one of the main tactical patterns to watch out for when you are in queen endgames. The good old skewer. A skewer is a tactic that happens on a straight line or diagonal, where the opponent has a much stronger piece standing in front of a weaker piece. The king is more stronger in terms of points. It's much more important than the queen. This would have been a very nice tactic to see. But let us see if what has happened now, or they are repeating the position. Yeah, Masoka has left himself with too little time. So seeing those tricks can be a bit more difficult. But if he has enough time, he would be able to see that with no problem. So very important lesson for him. But his opponent just makes a very bad move now. What was that? Suddenly, Masoka is winning the game. The guy should have just agreed to a draw with rook e2 check. And now he's just losing. Pity. Well, pity for him, because he could have drawn, but now it's good for Masoka, because Masoka is suddenly winning. There is no threat with f7, just rook f5. Masoka completely wins the game. Okay, so well done to Masoka. He managed to win somehow. So Masoka will go into the top 3 with that victory, winning himself some 100 rands. Let us see what's going on between Niethen and South African Rhino. So the South African Rhino has managed to play faster moves and has more time than his opponent. Niethen has definitely a winning position, but his position isn't easy to win. But he's preparing to bring his other rook down to d8. But now after the move queen to c5, well, queen c5 was probably the best move. but he didn't want to allow queen e4 check, which could have been maybe a little bit uncomfortable. So in this position, for sure, white is winning, but the time pressure is very real right now. Although he gets 5 seconds every time he makes a move, but anything can still happen here. Anything can happen. Okay, quite a number of people following the game. Oh, that's the threat. If he moves his queen away, he's losing his rook, but now he just goes and pins that. He pins the opponent's rook, and South African Rhino unpins. That's almost a mistake. But queen b7, finally, queen f3 protects the rook and stops. Yeah, let's see if he finds queen f3. He does find it. Oh, but actually that was a very nice trap from Nathan, because now he's able to carry out his plan of playing rook on d to d8, which actually would be winning the game. But South African Rhino with some cheap tricks. Very, very cheap trick. But Nathan also finds his own cheap trick, taking advantage of the pin. He's listening to Fun Master Mike's lesson. PP on the PP. Put pressure on the pinned piece. The rook was pinned. It's getting wild now. Threats are flying from all over the place. But now there seems to be the queen attacks on b4. It defends, but now, okay, Nathan is winning something for sure. There is some check that happens. King goes to h3, where it is nice and safe. Rook e8 is forced. Queen d5 is threatened. After queen a8, Nathan could potentially be winning, but he allows a check, which was probably not necessary. And now his opponent can move their knight. He missed a winning move with queen to queen a8, pinning the knight. Yeah, that's the only winning plan, is to pin that knight. But the difference now is that king h3 is not as safe as it was before. But this game is definitely leaving everything to the wire. It's for sure getting interesting. But what? Doesn't this simply allow queen e7? Queen e7, ladies and gentlemen. There is queen f5. And after queen f5, king to g2. Now what? He simply pushes the pawn. He simply pushes the pawn and he threatens the queen. So queen c7 is forced, or queen e1. Very tricky game. Queen check, followed by queen to d1, and the South African Rhino almost winning the game, but Nathan understood the trap, so he played instead king f2. So that after queen d1, he still is able to play his rook to c8. So another check by, there we go. That's game over, ladies and gentlemen. GG. King moves away, and queen to c1. Queen c8 is not a serious threat, because South African Rhino protects the knight on f8 with his other queen, and Nathan must resign. Amazing performance from both players. They definitely gave us a game that was full of ups and downs. Great tournament. GG's everyone. Well played. And congrats to the South African Rhino for winning the tournament. Okay, very exciting chess tournament. That is the final standings you see on the screen. South African Rhino comes in first place. GN Brave comes in second place. And in third place, Masoka comes in third place. So that is the finale, the end of the Elite Chess Rapid Showdown Open Section Championship. And the Under 13 also concluded earlier, which was won by Samuel Driscoll with 5 out of 5. South African Rhino won this tournament without losing a game with 4.5 points. And thank you for joining. Thank you for being part of this experience. Please comment in the comment section what you thought about this tournament, the commentary and everything, what you think can be improved, what can be done better, what should probably not be done next time. Please comment and give us feedback so we can improve. Just one more thing from me, or a few more things, not one. Please subscribe to the channel and also like the video and comment in the comment box. We would like to hear your thoughts about these events and all the rest. And also in the description box below, if you are able to, please support the channel on PayPal. You can just click the link in the description and give anything that you would like to support the channel on PayPal. We would really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And this is Dion Grodema from Elite Chess Academy signing off. As always, keep chessing. Bye-bye and have a good night or good morning, depending where you are in the world. Thank you.